My name is Andrews Tego, the Deputy General Secretary for the General Agricultural Workers Union. I'm the co-MC for the day with my sister
Rebecca Okran Abedu of Nagrat. Thank you. Please, we need a resounding response. Yay! Yay! Good. We would invite the chairperson of the planning committee, our brother Joseph Amagashi, John Amagashi, to introduce our dignitaries. Thank you.
Dear brothers and sisters, it is very refreshing to have all of you here observing the Workers' Day. I have the privilege to introduce to you the chairman and other dignitaries for the day. And I start with the chairman, Brother Alex Nyaku, who will share the effects of the program for the day. I also welcome you, His Excellency, the President of our land. His Excellency, the Vice President, you are also welcome. The Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, we say Ayeko. The Regional Minister, you are welcome. The Minister of Employment and Labor Relations, it's your day, we say you are welcome. Her Excellency, the Cuban Ambassador, we acknowledge you for gracing the occasion. His Excellency, the Palestinian Ambassador, we thank you for coming. The Secretary General of OATU, please, we humbly appreciate you. The Country Director of ES, we appreciate you for all your support. The Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Employers Association, you are humbly welcome. The Director General of Senate, who takes care of our future, you are here with us. Let me also acknowledge and appreciate the presence of Organized Labour, constituting all the national chairmen and the General Secretary on all the national offices. You are here with us, you are welcome. We also welcome all our doyens, our forebearers, those who have led the way. Let me also especially welcome all the award winners. You deserve congratulations. Other dignitaries, brothers and sisters, not leaving out the media, you are all welcome to this very important program. Relax, take part in everything. You are all welcome. Thank you very much.
We will invite the chairperson to give us his welcome remarks.
His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, His able Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, the Minister of Employment and Labor Relations, Honorable Ignatius Bafwewia, and from here I want to add my voice to the introduction that was done by my chairman of the committee recently, and see all other protocols observed. It is with great joy that I welcome you all once again to this year May Day parade. With all the drumming, dancing, the pageantries that comes with our May Day celebration. I dubbed last year May Day as a mini May Day celebration because a few of us could attend due to the severity of the COVID-19 pandemic at the time. I did receive some calls asking for a May Day celebration to be held in the normal way, and God being so good, here we are today. As workers, the May Day celebration is for us to reflect on our collective struggles and gains made in achieving a better standard of living for ourselves. In Ghana, we have the opportunity in meeting with the President of the Republic and other government functionaries. I would therefore urge you all to listen with rapt attention to the speeches to be read for further discourse for our common goal. Like our president said some time ago, for us to be citizens, not spectators, we assure our president that workers of this country are prepared to give up their best in whatever ways to change the fortunes of our dear country, Ghana. But this cannot be possible if the government does not create the enabling environment for us.
The Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress, Dr. Anthony Yao. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it to our man. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic, Honorable Ignatius Pafwewua, Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Honorable Bright Reku Brobe, Deputy Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Her Excellency Annette Chao Garcia, the Cuban Ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Comrade Abdul Fattah al-Satari, the State of Palestine Ambassador to Ghana, Brother Areski Mazoud, the Secretary General of Organization of African Trade Union Unity, Brother Alex Fripon, the CEO of Ghana Employers Association, Dr. John Ofori Chinkran, Director General of Senate, our organized labor leaders, brothers and sisters. First of all, let me welcome our special guest of honor, His Excellency President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, and His Excellency Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to the 2022 May Day National Parade. The presence of the President of the Republic, the Vice President, and the Ministers of State at our parades does not only make the celebration of May Day in Ghana unique, but equally importantly, it provides a great opportunity for organized labor to share its perspectives on the multiplicity of challenges facing our country and the people of Ghana. And that is what I'm going to do now on behalf of organized labor, especially when the Minister for Finance is also here with us. It is important to note, comrades, that this is the 6th time we are celebrating May Day with our President Akufo-Addo, since he took office in January 2017. He has always honored our invitations, even at the peak of the coronavirus pandemic in 2020 and 2021. He joined us to celebrate May Day. This is commendable. Thank you, sir. I would also like to welcome all our guests to this parade. A very special welcome to Her Excellency Comrade Annette Garcia, the Cuban Ambassador to Ghana, and His Excellency Comrade Abdul Fattah al-Satari, the State of Palestine Ambassador to Ghana. This is the first time they are celebrating May Day with us. You are welcome, comrades. We have with us at this parade a number of former trade union leaders. As we say in trade union circles, once a unionist, always a unionist. I welcome all the veterans and all the current leaders of organized labor and all the members who have gathered here on this special day in Accra and also in all the regions of the country. Brothers and sisters, the coronavirus pandemic did not allow us to come out in such large numbers to celebrate May Day in 2020 and 2021. But I'm very proud to note that the pandemic could not stop us from celebrating May Day. Even when we had to celebrate May Day virtually in the 2020 in the studios of GBC, we did that. And again, I'm very proud to note that the President of the country joined us in the studios to celebrate May Day. Ordinarily, all workers should be happy on May Day. Unfortunately, this is not the case today, because of the hardships workers and their families have had to endure, especially in the last 2 years or so. As we speak, minimum wage earners in Ghana are currently receiving just 13 cedis and 53 pesos for a whole day work, or 365 Ghana cedis for a whole month work. This is below the $1.9 international poverty line at the current exchange rate. In recent months, salaries have lost over a third of their real value as prices of essential commodities, including food and fuel, continue to increase on daily basis. Between January and March this year, for example, fuel prices increased by over 50%. A liter of petrol is now selling at over 10 Ghana cedis. It may be true that fuel prices are higher in other countries compared to fuel prices in Ghana. For example, the current price of a liter of petrol in the UK is about £1.60, or $2.11, compared to Ghana, which is $1.04. But the national minimum wage in UK is £9.50 per hour. And I want to repeat this, £9.50 per hour, which is the equivalent of 94 Ghana cedis per hour in Ghana. For 8 hours of work, a minimum wage earner in the UK receives £76, which is $99. This is equivalent to 745 Ghana cedis for 1 day, compared to Ghana 13 cedis 53 pesos, or $1.80. In terms of ratios, a liter of petrol at the price of £1.60 in the UK represents just about 2% of the daily minimum wage in the UK. Here in Ghana, the price of petrol, a liter of petrol, constitutes 80% of the minimum wage in Ghana. This shows that the cost of living in Ghana is much higher, even if the price of petrol is lower. And the impact of the price of the fuel price increases is much more severe on Ghanaians. We therefore call on government to suspend all taxes and all levies on petrol, on diesel, on LPG, on kerosene. Until the international price of crude oil and the value of the cedi are stabilized. This will bring down prices of fuel products and ease the burden on Ghanaians. The 15 pesos reduction offered by government is not enough. Suspending all taxes and levies on fuel in these challenging times will also demonstrate to Ghanaians that our government really cares and it is sensitive to the plight of the good people of Ghana. Given the negative effects of higher fuel prices on the standard of living, we once again urge government to consider reviewing the method for fuel pricing because the current method is unfair to Ghanaians. Government should also consider revamping the thermal oil refinery to refine petroleum domestically. This will insulate us from the high fuel prices due to exchange rate fluctuations. In 2007, when the cedi was redenominated, one Ghana cedi exchanged for approximately $1. Today, 1 Ghana cedi is just about 13 US cents. The cedi has lost about 87% of its value in the last 15 years. If the cedi had not been redenominated, the exchange rate will be about 76,000 cedis to $1 at the current exchange rate. Ghanaian workers are feeling the impact of the depreciation of the cedi, not only in terms of its effects on fuel prices, but also its effects on cost of imported food, cost of medicines, and cost of other essential items. The rapid depreciation of Ghana cedi is also feeding into inflation. In July 2021, when we were negotiating national minimum wage and public sector pay for 2021 and 2022, inflation was just 9%. In March 2022, inflation had increased to 19.4%. Between March 2021 and March 2022, food prices increased by 22.4% on average. Prices of some essential commodities increased by higher rates. For example, the price of water increased by 27.1%. Price of cereals and cereal products increased by 25%. Price of meat increased by 20.2%. Price of fish and other seafood increased by 23.7%. Price of oils increased by 28.2%. Price of fruits increased by 22%. And the price of vegetables increased by 23.8%. Consequently, many workers and their families have fallen into poverty. If nothing is done about this situation, many more workers and their families will suffer severe poverty in the coming months. Brother Chairman, we think that this is the time salaries in both the private and public sectors must be indexed to inflation in order to avoid worsening living standards among workers and their families. This is the time Ghanaian workers must be paid a living wage. This is the time government and private sector employers should acknowledge the sacrifices Ghanaian workers have made in the last 2 years especially to save our economy from total collapse. At the 2022 National Labour Conference, which was held at Nkwatiankwo, which was graced by our President, His Excellency, and the Vice President, social partners agreed that the single spine pay policy should be reviewed. A tripartite technical committee has since been constituted to review the policy. We urge the committee to present its report before the end of June 2022 so that pay increases can be factored into the 2023 national budget. We expect the committee to address the key challenges that have hindered effective implementation of the single spine pay policy. The first challenge has to do with the low levels of pay for workers. Some public sector workers on the single spine are actually receiving salaries as low as 450 Ghana cedis per month. This is woefully inadequate for any meaningful life in these difficult times. One of the main objectives of single spine was to ensure fairness in the reward system in the public service. After 12 years of implementation of the policy, pay differential in the public service has actually worsened. We now have a situation where some junior officers in some public service institutions, especially those that are not on the single spine, are earning much higher than senior officers on the single spine structure. Workers on the single spine structure are receiving lower salaries compared to their counterparts on other salary structures in the public sector. The highest salary on the single spine now is 7,000 Ghana cedis per month. But some heads of public sector institutions earn over 4 times this salary. This is not the right thing to do. In fact, there are some heads of state-owned enterprises who are earning over 3 times the salary of the President of the Republic. Even though some of the SOEs are making huge losses. Why should a chief executive officer who is managing a loss-making state-owned enterprise receive over 3 times the salary of the President of the country, who is managing the entire country? Why? Again, in 2021 and 2022, when public sector workers were given just 4% and 7%, some state-owned enterprises actually awarded themselves over 25% salary increase, even though their salaries are already much higher than workers on the single span. And they did so without clearance from Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, as required by Act 737. Chief executives and top management of SOEs are using public funds to pay themselves very fat salaries and allowances because they know that they will not be held accountable. On this special day, Mr. President, we want to appeal to you to ensure that the reward system in the entire public service, including emoluments for Article 71 office holders and the top management of SOEs, is totally overhauled. The low level of salaries and the pay inequalities have very, very serious implications for workers, not only when they are in active service, but also when they retire. Currently, a significant number of pensioners are receiving the minimum pension of just 300 Ghana cedis per month, compared to someone on the same pension scheme who is receiving 142,000 Ghana cedis a month. I mean, the lowest monthly pension as a ratio of the highest monthly pension is 1 to 475. What this means is that that person who is earning the highest pension can pay the pension of about 475 people. This is not right, and it must be fixed. Nearly 60% of all pensioners on Social Security and National Insurance payroll receive less than 1,000 Ghana cedis per month, and approximately 90% receive less than 2,000 per month. When somebody is receiving 142,000 a month, life is very, very tough for retirees in Ghana, especially for those who retired under Act 766 since January 2020. Studies by the Labour Research and Policy Institute of TUC and the African Center for Retirement Research show that about 80% of all those who retired in 2020 under the SNP scheme received lump sums that were inferior compared to the benefits they would have received if they had retired under the PMDC law 247. And the sad thing is this: the majority of them were public sector workers. Mr. President, in September 2020, we appealed to you to intervene to correct this injustice. You graciously intervened and directed that the necessary computation should be done. We are aware that these computations were finalized a couple of months ago and submitted to the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations and Ministry of Finance. But the lump sum top-ups have still not been paid. Mr. President, we would like to appeal to you once again to come to the aid of all the retirees on the SNP scheme who have been shortchanged in their benefits since January 2020 as a result of the implementation of Act 766. The situation is actually worse for the elderly Ghanaians who do not earn any pension. It is very sad to note that out of the 11.5 million Ghanaians in the labor force, just about 1.7 million are registered with SNIT. It means over 9 million Ghanaians in the labor force do not have access to social security. And as we all know, there is no income support for the aged in Ghana, despite our enormous wealth. Out of the 1.9 million Ghanaians who are 60 years or older, just about 286,619 are currently receiving pension from SNIT. That is just about 15% of the total population of Ghanaians who are 60 years or older. It means 85% of the aged in Ghana, or 1.6 million old people, have to rely on their families for food, for shelter, for clothing, for social care, and for health care. Sadly, those whose families cannot support them financially have to beg in the streets of Accra and other cities and towns across the country. Mr. President, let us change this situation. Ghana can do better than this. Now I would like to shift our attention to employment. And here I'm talking about decent employment, which guarantees decent income, decent pension, and dignity, and the rights of workers. Ghana has achieved a lot in the last 65 years after independence. When we achieved independence, the population of Ghana was just about 6.5 million. Now we are over 30 million. At least, Ghana has provided a hope for 30 million people plus. But one important area of public policy where all governments have failed to make progress has to do with the creation of decent jobs. Currently, just about 2 million Ghanaians have some form of decent employment out of nearly 11.5 million. That means over 9 million Ghanaians are either unemployed, underemployed, or they are eking out a living in the informal economy, where many of them work long hours a day under very unsafe and unhealthy conditions for incomes that are below the national minimum wage. We believe that the lack of decent employment is the main reason why many Ghanaians have died in poverty, and many people are still living in poverty and destitution in a country which is endowed with many natural resources, including oil. It is now very clear to us in Organised Labour that no single political party can solve the problem of joblessness in this country. Therefore, we need to move away from the partisan winner-takes-all approach of dealing with unemployment crisis and build consensus among all the stakeholders and determine the way forward. The National Development Planning Commission can lead this process. Mr. President, we urge you to challenge NDPC and provide NDPC with the necessary resources to develop a credible plan for the creation of jobs in all the 16 regions of the country. The plan must be formulated in such a way that it will be acceptable to all stakeholders, including the two major political parties, MPP and NDC, so that it can be implemented consistently, regardless of the political party in power. Lastly, Mr. President, once again, we would like to draw your attention to the state of informalization and casualization of jobs in Ghana. Some mining companies are terminating permanent contracts and replacing them with fixed-term contracts. This practice has made some Ghanaian workers in the private sector extremely vulnerable. We appeal to you, Mr. President, and your government to stop this bad practice. Otherwise, it will spread to other sectors of the economy. There are too many employment agencies operating in Ghana who are facilitating such bad practices and illegally performing the traditional roles of employers. Many workers, especially the casual workers, some of them do not even know who their true employer is because of the fraudulent operations of some of these private sector employment agencies. Government can stop this practice if labor law is reviewed. And Mr. President, this is about the 4th time we are appealing to you to ensure that our labor law is reviewed to offer adequate protection to workers of Ghana. We repeat our call for government to provide the necessary human, material, and financial resources to revamp the labor administration institutions. And here we mean the Labor Department, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, the National Labour Commission, and the Factories Inspectorate Department to perform their functions effectively. Mr. President, Ghanaians are suffering too much. This is not a country that was envisaged by our leaders who fought with their tears and blood to gain independence for us. God has endowed us with gold, diamond, forests, ocean, oil, and other resources. Therefore, nothing can justify the high incidence of severe poverty, destitution, and suffering in Ghana today, 65 years after independence. It is obvious to us that the numerous IMF programs in Ghana did not work. It is also clear to us that the partisan approach to dealing with Ghana's problems is not working. What we need is our own homegrown solutions, supported by all the major players in the economy, including the executive, parliament, judiciary, workers and their unions, a business community, farmers, traders, NGOs, political parties, and civil society organizations. We are confident that, Mr. President, together we can transform our economy into a more resilient and prosperous one which can provide jobs for the youth and improve standard of living in all the 16 regions of this country. Mr. President, finally, I would like to conclude with a very, very special request to you. Given the rising cost of living due to the high inflation I have just spoken about, we would like to humbly appeal to you to use your executive powers to grant a cost of living allowance of at least 20% to all public service workers. Mr. President, I would like to appeal to you to use your executive powers to grant a COLA of at least 20% to all public sector workers. And here I'm not talking only about those on single spine. I'm also talking about the armed forces, the police service, the prison service, the immigration service, the fire service, and all the security and intelligence agencies. The cost of living allowance must also be extended to workers in the private sector who are earning just 365 cedis per month. We also expect that this COLA will be extended to all those pensioners on the SNI scheme who are earning just 300 Ghana cedis per month. Mr. President, the proposed COLA will not only cushion workers and pensioners from the harsh effects of inflation, but even more importantly, it will prevent mass poverty in this country among the working people, who are contributing so much to the development of our country. I wish all of you a very, very great May Day celebration. And on behalf of all the leaders of Organised Labour, I would like to say a equal to all our award winners. Long live Organised Labour. Long live International Workers' Solidarity. God bless Ghana.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.
Page 3.
Solidarity forever.
For the
Union makes us strong. Solidarity.
solidarity forever.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Joy! 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 Boy! 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 Yeah. The Secretary General deserves 3 bosses. 3 bosses. 3 bosses. Let's go to the left. Thank you very much.
At this point, we will respectfully invite the first gentleman of the land, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to address the parade. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you
we
very
are so
much.
grateful, sir.
Vice President, Greater Accra Regional Minister, and Member of Parliament for Ayawaso Central, Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, and Member of Parliament for Sunyani West, Minister for Finance, Deputy Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, and Member of Parliament for Lower Himandinchra, Chairperson and members of the Board of the Trades Union Congress, Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Secretary General of the Organization of African Trade Union Unity, representatives of Organised Labour, President of the Ghana Employers Association, members of the Diplomatic Corps, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. I'm always glad to be in the company of Organised Labour, especially to celebrate May Day, the day set aside to pay homage to those who fought the heroic battles that have made today's ordinary things possible. I cannot begin this address without paying tribute to Organised Labour and its leadership for their invaluable contribution in helping to keep our country on its 2 feet at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Your cooperation has been a mark of patriotism, and I applaud you for that. Indeed, you continue to uphold the tradition of national engagement initiated by the legendary pioneers of Ghanaian trades unionism, Kobe Baini, Vital Quest, Anthony Wood, and others, through whose work and sacrifice we have inherited the free, independent Ghana in which we now live. With the ongoing vaccination campaign, which has seen some 14.2 million Ghanaians taking the jab, and with our continued observance of the safety protocols, despite the lifting of virtually all restrictions, we're beginning the process of returning our lives and livelihoods back to a marked degree of normalcy. I know that sooner rather than later, we will be out of the woods completely. Secretary General, on the occasion of the 2021 May Day celebration, I express the resolve of government to win the fight against COVID-19. It is also my hope and expectation that we will celebrate this year's May Day ceremony without masks. A year on, I'm excited, not only because of the news of the rebound of our economy, evidenced in the 5.4% growth rate chalked in 2021, which is manifesting itself in heightened economic activities throughout the nation, but also because we're returning to commemorating May Day as we should. Adverse global developments have impacted severely on exchange rate and inflation, with the overall effect being the weakening of the real incomes of people in Ghana, just as is happening everywhere. That is why the Secretary General can justifiably list the litany of woes that are adversely affecting the living standards of working people in Ghana and in the outside world. High inflation, high fuel and petroleum prices, and reduced income levels. We thus have to make concerted efforts as partners to hasten our recovery from COVID-19 by finding intelligent ways of bringing everyone on board to contribute their quota, no matter how small. Indeed, we have had to cut discretionary expenditures of ministries, departments, and agencies by 30%. We have reduced the salaries of political appointees, including myself, by 30% for the rest of the year. Reduced their full coupon allocation by 50%, and placed a moratorium on the purchase of imported vehicles, amongst others. As fate would have it, the outcome of National Labour Conference held earlier this year in Kwahu in Ketia, in the eastern region, provided guidance and encouraged government to re-examine critically the prevailing situation and proffer strategies and solutions that would help reverse the trend. We're witnessing some degree of stability in the macroeconomic data, and we're hopeful of maintaining and building on them throughout the year. Protecting jobs and incomes in the era of COVID-19 and beyond is undeniably the collective responsibility of all social partners. This is because incomes earned by workers are a function of jobs created by employers and of the creation of an enabling environment by government to help sustain enterprise growth. Data from the International Organization of Employers indicates that the private sector generates 9 out of 10 jobs worldwide, thereby contributing to greater economic and social equity, integration, and political stability. It is not for nothing that the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development underscores the importance of the private sector in the creation of jobs, especially small and medium-scale enterprises, which play key roles in employing the majority of the world's workforce. We must, as a matter of urgency, intensify the measures that affect the private informal sector in order to enhance access to cheaper capital. Protecting jobs and incomes requires government to provide adequate support to enable the private sector retain its labor, for private sector-led economic growth is the most conducive way of sustaining inclusive recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. As the main source of growth and job creation, the health of the private sector is integral to the revitalization of the economy, to the protection of existing jobs and incomes, and to the creation of new ones. To ensure this becomes a success, government, in partnership with organized labor and the business community, has undertaken to implement the following measures. 1, reduce the cost of doing business. 2, simplifies policies and procedures for business integration, growth, and sustainability. 3, increase investments and infrastructure in critical sectors. And 4, improve ease and access to finance and credit. I'm confident that with these measures, government will build the productive capacities of job-creating sectors such as agriculture, ICT, manufacturing, tourism, and the green economy to enable them to protect, create, and increase the jobs and incomes of workers. Secretary General, protecting jobs and incomes in the wake of COVID-19 should not be beyond us, and this will continue to be a top priority of government. COVID-19, which started as a health crisis, quickly metamorphosed into a severe economic and employment crisis. It exacerbated inequalities and vulnerabilities, especially amongst low-paid workers, and led to massive job losses and labor market disruption in developing countries, to which the Secretary General referred to in his speech. Indeed, the disruption has been so severe that it has compelled many countries to implement unprecedented measures to mitigate the effects on their economies or risk going under. Most popular amongst these measures are the provision of liquidity support to firms and adjustments to labor administration practices. In Ghana, these measures ensure that till date, no single public sector worker lost his or her job, and no single public sector worker suffered any wage or salary cuts. Building on the gains, government, with the agreement of the social partners, will shortly engage organized labor, employers, and key stakeholders to fashion out the right mix of policies to help protect jobs and incomes. These policies would include, but would not be limited to: 1, rollout of unemployment benefits and insurance; 2, training and retraining of workers; 3, extension of moratorium in payment of income and corporate taxes; and 4, pragmatism in labor administration and enforcement. I'm also happy to announce that following the National Labour Conference at Accra, the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations and the tripartite partners have set up, as of Tuesday, 26 April, a technical committee to review the single spine pay policy and advise government accordingly. The goal is to find out whether the single spine pay policy is living up to expectation, and if not, find a way forward. I sincerely hope that the outcome of that review, which is expected to be ready in July, will help us put an end to most of the unrest we see on the labor front involving public sector workers. Secretary General, I took note of the observations and recommendations you made in your address, especially of those on the challenges facing Ghanaian workers in particular and Ghanaians in general, for which I would like to make a few comments. It is important to put on record at the outset that when COVID-19 struck and public sector workers in some countries were either losing their jobs or getting reduced salaries, my government continued to pay the salaries of public sector workers without any reductions, and we ensured that no public sector worker lost his or her job. It cannot therefore be said that my government does not care about the plight of the Ghanaian worker. I've also acknowledged on several occasions that we are in difficult times, and government has not thrown its hands in despair, and it is not looking for the easy way out. On the contrary, we're working hard to address the current challenges facing the economy and those that relate to improve the quality of life for all Ghanaians. I will be the first to admit the conditions of service in the wider public service needs improvement. However, these should be done within budgetary constraints to ensure that we do not put excessive pressure on our public finances. Secretary General, in 2021, for example, government spent 31.7 billion cedis to pay for compensation of employees, that is wages and salaries, pensions, gratuities, and social security. This was paid out of a tax revenue of 56.5 billion cedis. Thus, payment for 700,000 public sector employees alone absorbed 56% of tax revenues in 2021. This ratio is well above the ECOWAS threshold of 35% and above the Sub-Saharan Africa average of 43%. The fiscal impact becomes even starker when we consider the three largest expenditure items, i.e., compensation of employees, interest payments and statutory funds, amounted to 81.3 billion cedis, representing 140% and 44% of tax revenue in 2021. This means that the total tax revenue is not enough to meet our commitments on compensation, interest payments, and statutory funds, as we have to resort to non-tax revenue and borrowing to be able to meet these obligations. This shows how rigid our budget is and how fiscal space is non-existent or limited. Government has worked with the tripartite social partners in the past to deal with these issues, and we will need your support now more than ever in our forward march. I urge all of us to work hard to increase productivity so we can increase salary levels and provide the basis for paying a living wage. On the vexed matter of petroleum price increases, the suggestion has been made, which has also been repeated by the Secretary General, is at this moment not sustainable. Removing taxes on petroleum products will reduce government revenues by some 4 billion cedis. At this time, when we're determined to expand government revenues in order to increase our capacity to finance our own development, can we afford to reduce government revenues by 4 billion cedis? Government is currently confronted by very tight financing conditions in the wake of inadequate domestic revenue mobilization. Indeed, some of the revenues from these same taxes on petroleum products is what is used to pay some of the salaries of some of the 700,000 public sectors on government payroll. We are addressing the issue of fuel price increases by implementing measures that are succeeding in stabilizing the exchange rate, a key determinant of fuel prices. Government is also working hard to ensure reliable supply and availability of petroleum products, thereby preventing shortages, a phenomenon which is being experienced in some other neighboring countries. By the same token, we're keeping the lights on in Ghana, despite all the difficulties our economy is going through. We should bear in mind that even though we are a modest producer of crude oil, with a current output of 148,000 barrels per day, we are still a net importer of petroleum products. We therefore continue to be vulnerable to the price volatilities of the world market for petroleum products. Nonetheless, Intense efforts are being made to rehabilitate the Tema oil refinery to enable it contribute to stabilizing petroleum prices, which should see the light of day very soon. We're also encouraging private companies to establish refineries in the country, one of which is 80% complete and is expected to be commissioned before the end of this year. Secretary General, as we work to address these issues, we cannot take ad hoc measures that will only give temporary reprieve and only aggravate the situation even more in the medium to long term. As much as possible, let us use existing institutions and sustainable measures to address these concerns. With respect to emoluments for Article 71 office holders, which according to official data constitute less than 1% of tax revenues, we have to deal with these issues of equity within our constitutional framework and call for the collaboration of the executive and legislature to address the issue. As I indicated at Crow in Katia, Ghana will again, as happened in my first term, be a shining example to the rest of the world. We're definitely on the right path, as outlined in the 100 billion cedi Ghana government's historic 10 billion cedi Youth Star program to encourage youth entrepreneurship will be launched by June. Together, they will help transform, revitalize, and modernize the economy to enable it to return to high and sustained growth over the next 2 years. We're doing so with greater urgency to create job opportunities in different sectors of the economy. We have done it before, and we will do it again. I shall be more than ready to share the progress with you a year on, and the progress we're making in the review of our labor law. Just as we have worked together to reduce significantly the impact of COVID-19 on lives and livelihoods, and just as we work together to grow the economy from the 3.4% I inherited in 2016 to an average annual growth rate of 7% in my first term before the pandemic struck, making us one of the fastest growing economies in the world. So I remain optimistic and upbeat that working together in all sincerity and transparency, we, the social partners, i.e. government, organized labor, and the business community, can help sustain the rebound of the economy and thereby help improve the living standards of all Ghanaians. In all of this, we must not lose sight of our overarching vision, which is to build a Ghana beyond aid. I remain confident that we can free ourselves from a mind of dependence, aid, charity, and handouts, and build a self-reliant economy which will mobilize the immense resources of Ghana, material and human, with women and youth in the forefront, to resolve Ghana's problems and deliver a decent, dignified standard of living to the working people of our country. May God bless organized labor and us all, and may God bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. I thank you all for your attention.
Please, let's be upstanding and give a big choboy to His Excellence. Choboy! Choboy! Thank you, Your Excellency. We are moving straight to do the awards. Award winners, I want you to start moving towards this direction. Please, the first person to receive the award is Madame Philippa Larson from NAT. Then we have FES, please. Yes, please. Then we have Mr. Frank Samuel from Nagrat, followed by Shadrach Ajete Sowa, Justice Yao Manson, Justice Yao Manson.
Stop Galamsey, Green Ghana, Timber and Woodworkers Union, Green Ghana, thank you. Thank you, Plant and Nurture Trees, thank you. Stop Galamsey in Ghana, thank you. Thank you, keep going, keep going. The national workers, thank you, please keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going. I will not read if you stay, keep going. Keep going, thank you very much. Go, 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 go. Please keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. The next group we are seeing is the Public Services Workers Union. Public Services, thank you very much, Public Services Workers Union. Thank you, General Secretary, Public Service Workers Union. National President, Public Services Workers Union, thank you.
Let's keep going.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going. Please, the security help us to keep going, keep going. We will not take any picture. Keep going, keep going. The media, please don't promote that. Come back and let them pass. You can stay at the end and take the pictures. Health Services Workers Union. Health Services Workers Union. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. 4% and 7%. Again, not break the age. Mr. President, low level of salaries of railway workers. Thank you.
Public
Services Workers Union. Public Services Workers Union.
Please, you are recognized. Keep moving.
General Secretary, Public Service, thank you very much.
You are duly recognized. Architectural and engineering
Services of the PSWU.
Yes.
Resource NCCE to empower the citizens. But what can you see?
Architectural and engineers.
Yeah,
Make sure your
AESL.
services are cheap for us to afford.
AESL, give us very good and affordable service. Gridco, all of public service.
Gridco.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
We stand for the survival of Gridco.
Gridco.
Ghana, your power we transmit.
Mr.
Gridco, thank you.
Thank you, Gridco.
Thank
Mr.
you
President,
so much,
thank you to
Gridco.
continue to support
you,
power
Gridco.
sector. Mr. President, thank you. Continue to support the power sector.
Gridco, you are recognized.
Thank you very much.
Group of
Gridco,
companies.
please go forward.
Graphic Communication Group Limited.
Graphic, all on the PSW. Keep going, keep going. All on the PSW, keep going.
Productivity thrives when there are fair wages against inflation.
Fair wages versus inflation.
East inquiries, you are
Thank
duly
you.
recognized.
Daily graphic communication. We have seen you. Please keep going. Thank you, graphic communication.
Pioneer Foods.
Pioneer Food. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
Ghana
you.
Railway Workers Union.
Keep going, keep going.
Ghana Railway Workers Union. Ghana Railway Workers Union.
Railways. Mr. President, low level of salaries of railway
Railways
workers
revamping
still
is
prevails.
economic prosperity.
Thank you, thank you.
Railway revamping is economic prosperity.
Thank you, thank you. Ghana Railway Workers Union, thank you. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Crocodile
Ghana
market.
Railway Workers Union, thank you. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Gossip.
Keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. GSA, our passengers come first. You're over here. Keep going. Keep going. Thank you very much. Public Services Workers Union, keep going, keep going. Public Services, keep Cocoa Research Union. Cocoa Research Workers Union. CREW, Cocoa Research Institute Workers Union. Thank you very much.
Gossip.
Gassem.
Gossip.
Gassem. Keep going.
Gossip. Cement and well talk. No way as a noble.
Just put it somewhere. Gassem.
Cement.
Thank you. Keep going. Ashanti Gold. are the Mine Workers Union. Ashanti Gold, Ghana Mine Workers Union. Thank you very much. Cocoa Research Institute Workers Union, Crew. Thank you. Go, keep going. Please keep running, keep running. We have read. Go, go, go. Media people, please move towards this side. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Don't stop here, please. Keep going. Workers, rise up against Galamsey. All of us will rise up. I'll read here. Go here. I'll read it here. Keep going. I'll read when it is here. Go, 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 go. All right. MP's concession needs review. We have read. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Voter, Ghana Highway Authority. Thank you. Go, 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 go. We are reading the unions, the national unions. We are reading the national unions. So keep going. We have seen you. We have seen you. Avoid Goro boys. Avoid Goro boys. License. There are no any DVLA. Keep going. DVLA goes digital. DVLA goes digital. Thank you. Keep going. 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 We want a living wage. Thank you. We want a living wage. Thank you. Keep going. Keep going. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. The next union, Bank of Ghana. If you go very fast, it will help you. Bank of Ghana, ICU. Keep going. Yes, yes. Bank of Ghana of ICU. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Timber and Workers Union of TUC. Timber and Wood Workers Union of TUC. Yes, and the timber is the forestry commission. Keep our forest safe. Keep our forest safe. Keep going. Ghanaians, let's say shame to Galamsey. We say shame to everyone behind Galamsey. Shame to everyone. Timber and Wood Workers Union. Keep going. Forestry. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going. Timber and Wood Workers Union. Then the next union. Unicov, thank you. Unicov, thank you. Unicov. Unicov General Secretary and National Chairman, thank you. Keep going, please. Go, 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 go. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you very much. Ghana Commercial Bank. Our own bank. Thank you, thank you. Keep going, keep going. Thank you, GCB. Thank you, GCB. Ghana Commercial Bank, thank you. Keep going, keep going. Ghana Commercial Bank, thank you. Barbers, thank you. national parade at the Independence Square of Ghana. In attendance is His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, the Vice President, the Minister of Labour, the Minister of Finance, the Regional Minister. May Day 2022. Thank you very much. AMA, thank you very much.
Ghana Maritime, Accra Market. Yes, Accra Market.
Keep going, keep going.
Accra Market Limited.
Golden Pride Savings Bank. That is a union bank. Our own bank.
The market women are here.
Hey,
Let's recognize them.
the market women. The market women. Market women. Uniwa. This not. Ghana National Association of Teachers.
NAT.
Ghana National Association of Teachers.
NAT.
General Secretary is present here and is marching. The National President of NAT.
Yes. KGM Industries.
NAT.
KGM Industries. Well done. Thank you for coming. Ghana
KGM.
Aviation and Navigation Services.
Keep going, please. Keep going, please. Please, keep going. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much. Ghana Police, thank you very much. Thank you.
Sona Park.
Full operation.
Sona Park of ICU.
Several Park of ICU. Keep going.
Audit Service.
Hey,
Audit Service.
all this service.
PMMC workers. Hey. PMMC. Reduce your prices.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Upfield Ghana Manufacturing
PNSU, I
Limited.
see you. Thank you very much. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going. Thank you very much.
General
Thank you very much.
Construction,
Yeah, General.
Manufacturing and Quarry Workers Union.
Construction and manufacturing. Construction. Thank you. Construction. Thank you.
Ghana
General Secretary
Construction.
and National Chairman. Construction.
Ghana
Thank you.
Construction and Manufacturing. Happy Workers' Day.
Happy Workers' Day. Thank
Happy
you.
Workers' Day. Thank you so much for coming.
Construction
so
and
much for
manufacturing.
coming.
Thank you. Of TUC.
ARB Apex. ARB Apex Bank. ARB Apex Bank. Paint.
Thank you very much.
Paint. The future of paint.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hey, snakes. Social Security and National Insurance Trust.
Mucha pension, Papa. Gone digital. Senate has gone digital.
Protecting jobs and incomes.
Thank you very much, Snake. Thank you very much, Snake. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Thank you very much. Go, go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Snake. I go, Snake.
State Housing Company. expensive.
Which one?
Darling, those who produce
Darling,
hairpiece.
I'm going to
No boy again,
because the men are using it these days.
darling, for Monte hairpiece, no so why?
National Stores Authority.